Hi, my name is Cheryl Jessie, and this is my Interpersonal Communication Project for HSER 508. Let's begin with the definition of communication. Stewart, in his book, says communication is best viewed as a continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. There are two types, interpersonal and impersonal. I have sat down and I have prayed about my overarching goal, and I've come to this particular conclusion. It is to develop into a more outgoing, secure, confident communicator. I plan to expand my communication circle and utilize the methods of my listening and talking abilities. I will grow as a part of God's family, spreading the gospel throughout the land. I will grow in my personal relationship with God as I recognize and change the importance of making these changes. Next slide. I acknowledge that there are problems with my communication skills, and once I have now that I have acknowledged that, the second step is to make the changes. According to my reading, you need to develop a support system once you're making changes so that you catch no one off guard. Next slide. I took 2 tests. One was the Uniquely Yours, and the other was the communication test. The Uniquely Yours results were, this is expected of me, which is graph 1. I am an S. It is expected of me to take the back seat. In other words, I am to stand in the back and say nothing and just go along with the flow. This is me, graph 2. I am timid. I can get along in a crowd, but I like one-on-one relationships. My communication skills. Insecurities and limited interactions with others prohibits me from expanding my conversation. I'm a great listener, and I thank God for that. And I'm considerate of other feelings. I'm not easily misunderstood, and I adjust well to the feelings of others. Stewart states this: communication defines who you are. Listening skills. Listening is a learned skill according to Burley Adams, page 3. And I listen most of the time on a level 1. I am an empathetic listener. At this level, I refrain from judging people. I listen and consider their feelings and try to see things from their point of view. With this, Burley Adams says you need to have an okay attitude. And most of the time, I have the okay attitude. However, there are times when I fight or I struggle with the bias and the faker listening skills. I choose to do this because I am protecting myself from being hurt. And this is something that I need to change. The biased listener is a listener who chooses what to listen and what not to listen to. And I have been guilty of choosing what I listen and what I listen to, again, to keep from being hurt. I evaluate the diamond triangle when I got to that part of the lesson. I am a rescuer. I feel like, and this balances out with my behavior pattern. I feel like I have to rescue everyone. I feel like I need to make sure that their lives and their surroundings are secure and valuable. When I take my surroundings as being vulnerable to be hurt. Perceiving and listening. Inhaling. Inhale involves 3 fundamental perception: selecting, organizing, and inferring. We actively interpret everything we encounter, according to Stewart, 2012, page 162. We prioritize our inhaling, we organize our cues, and we infer meaning. Exhaling, sending out or output part of communication. Self-disclosure, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-presentation. The things that hinder me from having these particular attributes in my life is fear, impression management, and self-verification. Once I have worked on my confidence, I believe that these things will no longer be a problem in my life. There are often barriers to listening. Burley Adams states that when a person pays attention to you by having good eye contact, is attentive to what you're saying or acknowledges you, this kind of listening has a positive power. Again, I am a biased listener, and I also am a fake listener as well. And to correct these issues, I need to focus and concentrate on what the person is saying to me at the time that they're talking. I need to watch nonverbal cues. I need to maintain eye contact. My posture needs to be one that is stating that I am attentive, I am listening. My inner thought process needs to be on that person at the time that I'm talking to them. I need to be attentive. Verbal things that I need to work on. I need to work on making meaningful notes in my mind, resisting external distractions, and work harder on listening. These are things that I am determined to correct in my life. Because God's listening, the Psalms 3:3-5 says, "But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory and the lift of my head. I cried unto the Lord with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill." I want to hear people. I want to ask questions for clarification. Avoid the word why, but use open-ended questions. I want to summarize to the person I'm talking to what they've said to me. I want to evaluate the content. Next slide. Talking to. I want to have my confidence level up. Again, my posture, my attitude, speak clearly, focus on the topic, believe in the words that I'm speaking, remain positive throughout the conversation, and do not allow negativity to be displayed in my nonverbal or verbal at all. I want to use the talk or listening card, which I found to be an available accent to talking and listening abilities. It describes, it includes the head, the body, the heart, the stomach. It is very important for me, and according to Peterson, to listen first and then talk. He gave a description of each role, the goals for each role, and the avoidance of each role. I want to avoid walls of communications and overcome the obstacles in my life. I want to avoid conflicts. But if it's unavoidable, I want to be able to handle it in the right manner. I want to avoid taking the defensive position and intimidation roles. I want to avoid deception, betrayal, aggressiveness. There are more difficult elements of interpersonal communication. I have learned a great deal from this class, and I have purposely in my heart prayed and currently in prayer that God will help me to do these things to improve my interpersonal status in life. And I know that once I do this, I will grow in grace and grow in wisdom. And I hope that you have enjoyed this. This has been a dynamic class for me. It has been a growing experience. And I look forward to growing in grace and wisdom.